and welcome to the channel, guys. This is Everything Barcelona. Today we're going to be chatting with Total Barca 93. Let's just look at the agenda and then we'll get talking. We've got the first pre-season match review against Chelsea. Valverde sends warning to Rakitic in post-match conference. Barca makes serious changes to its board with focus on La Masia. Match review of Barca vs Vissel Kobe. Atleti tries to cancel the Griezmann move. And we have more transfer updates. So how's it going, Total Barca 93?
Yeah, it's going good.
Great, let's get started. We had our first pre-season match against Chelsea, which we lost 1-2. What's your review of the match?
Well, first of all, Chelsea already played a couple more matches than us, and we were just starting out our preseason, so they were more in the groove than us. Secondly, it's just preseason. The score doesn't really matter. We lost the match, yes, we lost 1-2, but it was more about getting to see all our new signings play for the first time rather than, going out there and winning the match. I have to say that we did play well. I'm really excited about the new signings. Riqui Puig was a genius on the field, and I think he should be given more first team time this season. His passes were really intricate and amazing. De Jong played well as well, and he's making his mark. 42 out of 42 passes completed. That's a 100% passing rate. That's really great. And Griezmann is really awesome. His link-up play and his first touch are just first class. There was an injury scare for Griezmann initially, but everything seems to be fine. He played yesterday's match against Vissel as well, so I don't think there's anything to worry about. But these are really promising signs, and this is what you want to see from preseason, that your new signings are playing well and they're adapting well.
Cool, so Valverde had a lot to say in his post-match conference, especially about Rakitic and Roberto. Shall we discuss this?
Sure. Basically, Valverde said that Rakitic will have to fight for his position this time, and that's a good thing because last season he was basically a starter no matter what. He had no competition at all. This season we have De Jong, we have Puig probably in the first team, and Rakitic shouldn't be comfortable. That's a good thing. No one should feel comfortable in their positions. No one should feel like they're untouchable. This really keeps the competition. This really motivates them to really perform well so that they get more time to play. The other thing that Valverde said was Roberto will be in the midfield this season, and our right back positions will be mainly occupied by Semedo and Wagué. Wagué is basically going to join the first team is what I think Valverde said, and that's a very promising sign because first of all, Roberto is not an actual right back. He's just a versatile player who can fit in as a right back, but he's not tailor-made for that role. Semedo and Wagué, on the other hand, are actual right backs. So it's good that Semedo and Wagué are going to play. Wagué is coming from our B team, so he's very young, and it's good that they're giving more opportunities to the younger players. These are very promising signs. The only concern that I feel at this point is that our midfield is actually really crowded. We keep talking about our front line being really abundant, but if you think about it, our midfield is even more crowded. We have Rakitic, we have Vidal, we have Busquets, Arthur, Alenia, De Jong, Riqui Puig, and even Coutinho is playing in midfield nowadays. So it's kind of a question for Valverde how he's going to use all these players, but Roberto playing in midfield is certainly a good sign for the right back position. The other thing Valverde said was about Griezmann. He said Griezmann is bad news for the opponents, which is no surprise. He's a really good player, and that's the reason we bought him. Even in his first match of the season, he was a little rusty, of course, but you could see the class.
Alright, next up on the agenda we have the La Masia situation. A lot has been changing with respect to the board. How do you think it's going to affect us?
Yes, a lot of changes have been going on with the board, especially Seguera. I don't know if he quit or he was fired, but he has left, and Eric Abidal is in. He's going to be taking on some of Seguera's responsibilities. Patrick Kluivert is now in charge of La Masia. These are really, really good changes, and I'm very happy to see these changes happening, especially because, Seguera was not the kind of guy who reflected the principles that Barcelona stands for. He was more, into advocating that we buy tall players, strong, fast players. That's not our principle. That's not our philosophy. We focus on skill and technique. We shouldn't be going for tall and fast players who play with a lot of intensity. That's more the style of Jurgen Klopp. We play in the more Cruyff, Pep Guardiola style, which is possession and passing and skill, and you have to make things happen with your brain as much as your body. It's not just about physicality. So I think it's a good thing that we are moving away from the kind of ideas that Seguera brought in, and I'm really optimistic that we'll make better decisions going forward. Now, with respect to La Masia, there has been concern that we've been giving a lower berth to La Masia in the recent years. Roberto has been the only successful player to make it to the first team in recent years, and that is a real concern because we've been buying huge players, spending tons of money. We've bought the likes of Coutinho, Dembele, Griezmann, De Jong, potentially Neymar, and all of these are big signings, and this is not our style essentially. I mean, some of these are justified, but in the long run we should be focusing on raising our own players. We should be giving more importance to our younger players. The La Masia talent has also been slipping away, which is also a point of concern. If you see the recent Xavi Simons story, he signed with PSG, and I think the reason is partly because our midfield is crowded, as I said before, and we have a lot of young players coming up in the midfield as well. So Simons might have felt that his opportunities were kind of limited if he stuck at Barcelona, so a move to PSG might have seemed more exciting. But nevertheless, we should still be giving more importance to our younger players in La Masia. Actually, the only good thing about Xavi Simons moving away is that his agent was Mino Raiola. It is really good riddance. But Patrick Kluivert signing as the head of La Masia and all the other changes make me happy because people who understand Barcelona and its philosophy are coming in to manage it, and that is a very positive sign for us.
Cool, so we had another preseason match this week in Japan against Vissel Kobe. What's your thoughts on the match?
Alright, first of all, there were a few players missing. PK was missing because he had some discomfort and they wanted to be precautious and not include him in the squad. Hiroki Abe, who's our new signing from Japan, was missing because of a hip injury. That was really unfortunate because he didn't get to start for Barcelona in his home country, which would have been a great way to start his career for Barcelona. Anyway, as far as the match is concerned, it was kind of strange to say that Iniesta will be playing against Barcelona. But Vissel Kobe has a lot of ex-Barcelona players, including Iniesta, David Villa, Samper, and now I think we have Malen going there as well. It was a preseason match. Again, there's no pressure involved. We created a lot of chances. Todibo got close to his first goal for Barcelona. Malcolm hit the post. Ricky Puig hit the side netting. Rakitic had a shot go wide. Griezmann was a little bit rusty, but it's still the beginning of the season. His touches are still really great. Carlos Perez scored 2 brilliant goals. I think De Jong was really impressive as well. So all in all, we won the match 2-0. We are pretty happy with our performance. I'm sure we'll improve with all the major players coming back and as the new players adapt to each other. I think it'll be exciting this season. But having said that, I have to say that the best player in yesterday's match was without a doubt Andres Iniesta. I mean, the guy has left Barcelona, but he still got it, man. The way he pickpocketed Longley and took that shot, it's just brilliant.
Alright, next up we have a little tense situation between Griezmann and Atleti going on. Basically, according to some sources, Atletico are seeking to block Griezmann's professional La Liga license as a part of their complaint over his transfer to Barcelona. They claim that Barcelona still has to pay them 80 million more because they had an agreement for Griezmann before the July 1st, which was when his release clause dropped to 120 million. Where do you think all this is going to end up?
I don't see it happening, man. There might be some sort of settlement later, maybe we send over a player on loan or something like that, but I don't think anything as major as cancelling the transfer or, paying that whole 80 million is going to happen. I don't see it happening. I mean, these things happen in football, this is nothing new, and I suspect that Atleti has done something sketchy like this as well before. I don't think this is anything new actually. What is really strange to me is how Atleti is treating this player who has, given them everything for the past 5 years. He was their leading goal scorer. He embraced this defensive style that Simeone brought in, and, it's not an easy way to play for a forward like Griezmann. So it's just strange to me how they're treating him like he betrayed them. And they were apparently okay with all of this when they had their meeting with Griezmann where he announced that he's going to, leave this season. So I just feel it's kind of cheap.
Right, so give us some updates on the transfer situation.
Right, so Barcelona have marked Coutinho, Rakitic, Vidal, Malcolm, and Rafinha as transferable. Barcelona expects at least 100 million for Coutinho. And by the way, the Premier League transfer window closes in 2 weeks, so if he's going to the Premier League, we're going to be hearing about it soon. But I think that's kind of unlikely because, Chelsea has the transfer ban, Liverpool doesn't want him. Klopp just recently came out and said it's a big signing and we are not in a position to make that. And also Manchester United is Liverpool's rival, so they are not expected to sign Coutinho as well. So I don't think a Premier League transfer is on the cards, but let's see what happens. PSG seem like they're interested in Coutinho, but the relationship between Barca and PSG is kind of tense and we'll have to wait and see what happens. Most probably our next signing is going to be Junior Firpo from Betis. We're going to sign him for, I think, 20 to 30 million, and that'll also help us take some load off Alba, in the major games. He can be fit and prepared. As far as the Neymar transfer is concerned, that seems to be moving a little bit away slowly. PSG and Neymar still have a terrible relationship now, and they also seem to want Coutinho from Barcelona. But other than that, there's nothing really driving the transfer right now.
Alright, thank you Total Barca 93. Just a few other updates for you guys. Messi and Suarez are back at Barcelona. Suarez has already begun his training. Vermaelen has signed for Vissel Kobe, where he'll be joining Iniesta, David Villa and Sergi Samper. And just for a few laughs, Real Madrid lost 3-7 to Atletico Madrid. Now before you say that it's a preseason match and they wouldn't have played their best team, they were 5-0 after the first half and they played all their major players including Eden Hazard and Luka Jovic. That's it guys, our next match will be against Arsenal in the Joan Gamper Trophy in the Camp Nou on Sunday. Make sure to watch that. We'll be back with more updates soon. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share this video. Thank you all.